So, Tokyo Game Show just wrapped up, and if you don't know what that is, it's essentially Japan's version of E3, where they more discuss things that are coming up in the gaming industry on that side of the world rather than focusing on electronics like how America does over here. And during that, there was a lot of discussion about Guider 3, which surprisingly instead of initially coming out 2019, it's coming out in 2018, which is very surprising. So there's been a lot of gameplay release, and watching that, I've been so desensitized about what I knew before and what I know now. That's gonna be kind of hard to distinguish. So if I say anything that I've said before, I apologize. I'm just gonna say anything that I don't think I've said that caught my interest watching all this gameplay. So here we go. I've noticed that this game likes to pay attention to detail. It's really taking effect of this PS4 horsepower and the fact that it's being taken place on a console. One of the biggest changes from the portable entries to now the console is like all the particle effects. If you notice when watching gameplay of this, you'll notice that origami, I don't know if it has anything to do with the plot or better hardware, but when they're defeated and they're lying down on the ground, right? After a certain amount of time, instead of them sinking into the ground, they would actually explode into like a bunch of ashy particle effects, which is really nice to look at. And I don't know if that's because of they can do that with the new horsepower, or it's just like a new fancy thing that they can do and they just say, hey, let's just integrate it with the plot. One other thing that's really caught my interest, so I'm watching this gameplay, right, and I noticed that there's these geysers of green water. And I'm thinking, okay, so I'm thinking like that's just some background element, right? Turns out, you can actually go to that geyser and get yourself healed. I don't know how exploitable that is, but it seems like you can heal yourself all the way, which sounds very useful for those maps that are filled with origami and you're out of restore pills and you need to heal up and you need to find those geysers to heal you up. Sounds like a very nice environmental thing to help you out in battle. Something else about those geysers is that when origami flee, they actually flee to those points on the map with those geysers. So now, instead of from the PSP entries where they run away and they go to a part of the map and they're literally eating air, I always implied that, I don't know, like they were eating like oracle cells in the air, or maybe they're supposed to quote unquote be devouring something on the ground, but you didn't actually see it. Now, it gives the excuse like, oh, so they're just drinking the water, they're consuming the water to kind of get their strength back up. A nice little detail as well, and again, this game is blooming with details, is that when they're defeated, they actually vomit up, in a sense, the water that it consumed. I don't know if the water has any plot significance, but basically any big origami just like, you know, bleh. Now, because of the better detail and better house that this game is now performed on, I was paying really much attention to see if there was like a 30 FPS or 60 FPS difference. Final conclusion is, until I get it in my hands, I can't really tell, but it seems like the game is still at 30, so not too much of a blow there. I very much would have preferred if it was at 60 to really show off that horsepower. Maybe they'll have like unique applications of the PS4 version. There's no word if any of this footage has been on a PS4 or PS4 Pro, but you know, as long as I get like teammates that actually devour and actually give you burst links and the atrocity that was the 60 frames per second of the Steam version, I'm fine as long as the game works and looks pretty. If you played any other previous Gaida game and you really like those blood arts from Gaida 2 Rage Burst specifically, well, don't you worry, because apparently they're back, but they're renamed under a different name. Instead of blood arts, because blood doesn't really take a part in the story, they're actually called burst arts, which apparently, I don't read Japanese, but apparently they're special moves that take place only when you're in burst mode, which is really cool. I've seen some really flashy ones, and it seems like they're going to be just as OP as blood arts were. Little gameplay things I've noticed in previous games is that your sprint seems to be faster, and I noticed that there is a reason for that. You also have like a dive technique that you can like go from 0 to 100 very fast, go from like standing position to like a lunging devour aerial attack, which is very nice. The reason why I think they increased the sprint ability is because like certain origami, the ones that they show and use footage a lot is this Ashbourne origami. I think we have a name, but I haven't looked it up. He you've seen footage where like he devours you, right? And then he like glows all red like the Marduk would in Gladiator 2, and he would power up, right? Apparently you can't just block it like with the shield. You have to actually move out of the way, otherwise he's gonna power up and hit you. And a little fun fact as well, the red aura that comes off of him, instead of like the Marduk back then in Gladiator 2 Rage Burst, if you get near it while he's powering up, it actually hurts you. I want to include this in the video. This is unconfirmed. I'm not going to check it because my PS4 at the moment is currently, let's just say inoperable. I can't access it right now, let's just say that. But I've seen a somewhat credible source that the online function, this game is going to be online. I mean, they discuss, you know, they're going to robust and change the online infrastructure of this game, Gladiator 3. But it seems like from the PlayStation Store on the PS4 side that the game is gonna include up to 8 players. I don't know how true that is. I haven't seen it myself with my own eyes on the actual console. I saw a screenshot of it. I don't think anyone would fake that. But if that's the case, that's gonna really entice people to play online, because at the moment, I'm gonna be honest, it seems like Gladiator 2 Rage Burst and Resurrection online, they're pretty dead. So maybe if they include like harder missions that include like 8-player sessions and devouring and stuff like that, it could be for a very enticing online experience. So remember when I said that the game was gonna come out in 2018, specifically December 13th in Japan? Someone told me that the game was supposed to initially come out in a worldwide release, but I don't remember ever seeing that. But regardless, I'm thinking, okay, the game comes out in December, right? In Japan anyways. So maybe it'll take maybe 3 months or so to translate and give voices and everything. That assumption got blown out of the water, which apparently around this time in TGS there was some footage that surfaced of the English version of the game, which had voices, translated text, and I'm like, wow, okay, so this game is going to come out very close to its initial launch apparently. So we have no idea how big this game is going to be. I'm going to assume it's going to be like a basic, general, concise, like Gladiator game. I think it is going to have like DLC, like a burst expansion. It's probably going to have DLC stuff like including maybe members from like the Blood Group and like the Far East Branch members and stuff like that. But I don't expect the game story to be anything grand. I expect it to be pretty much by the numbers, but I think like most people, we don't come here for the story. We just kind of come for like the cool gameplay and all the neat little things that it comes with it. No word of this game is going to be dual audio. Again, there's no like official word from the actual team of America and Europe. But it seems like from the English voices at least that they're bringing back like grade A voice actors. Don't quote me on this, but from what I've heard, it sounds like, I'm gonna butcher these names. It sounds like one of your characters are voiced by Erica Lindbeck, and one of them is voiced by Patrick Seitz. I probably butchered both of their names, but they're both very good voice actors, and they could be in it, they could be not. I just kind of noticed, I kind of put my ear to the ground, like, huh, it kind of sounds like this. Regardless, their voices sound good, so even if they don't include Japanese voiceovers, which is gonna be a shame for some, I'm sure they'll do their best and try to compensate, like, hey, we have these grade A actors here, so you don't need the Japanese, but regardless, people are still going to complain about that. Graphics wise, while this is on the PS4 and it does look better than, say, Gladiator 2 or Gladiator Burst, character models I've noticed are not like amazing. They're passable. They seem to look like, from all the footage that I've seen, they're just maybe half a step up from like Gladiator 2 Rage Burst and Resurrection. They look decent, they look passable, but they don't look like, you know, amazingly detailed, which is fine. I mean, they're still gonna stick with this like cell shade. Well, that's not really cell shade. It's like this anime-esque style, which is fine. But that's not really where I think it really matters. What really matters in this game, especially, is the environments. And man, can I tell you, the environments, the glow, the background details, the grass. You actually have blades of grass instead of that 2D paper thin looking grass stuff. It's all looking really good, and so are the origami in this game. I would go into more detail about the gameplay mechanics, like using the heavy moon attack and using your ray gun, how it like overheats and stuff. and this team-based mechanic where you glow yellow, and I guess your moves get powered up or something. Yeah, I haven't seen very much detail in that, so I can't really commentate. But what's really good, and I read this through a Japanese tweet on Twitter, is I'm 80% sure I read this correctly. On the Japanese side, and hopefully we get on the US store as well, because like the fan base for Gaia keeps growing and growing and growing, because they really wanted to try to get this apparently a worldwide release, but I didn't see that happening. Is that we're getting a demo of this game. We've seen lots of demo footage from like TGS. Maybe they'll give us that demo, or maybe they'll give us that demo but like more demo missions, because like Gaia Resurrection, they give us like I think like 52 missions or something. It's like hours of gameplay. It was like crazy. So until I actually get that demo in my hands, I'll definitely be playing that for the channel as well. We will see how this game plays, how this game looks, and discuss what mechanics we like and don't like. But generally, that's gonna be it for this video. Those are my final thoughts of the game. There's not gonna be much else to talk about until the game comes out. The game comes out in December. I'm gonna be avoiding spoilers like crazy. Then again, we don't come for the story. We come for the gameplay. Let me know in the comments if you really like the gameplay of these games, or not the the gameplay, but like the story. I personally don't come for the story. I just come for the gameplay. And let me know if you're gonna be if you're gonna be importing this. Japan's gonna be getting a collector's edition. No word on the American side or European side, because it's still way too early to tell. And yeah, if you like Gaia, definitely consider giving this video a like. It's gonna be very helpful to the channel, and I'm very excited to hear what your thoughts are on this game. Have you heard about this game? Are you interested in it? If you like basically like the anime aesthetics and you like Gaia, and you have friends especially, you can get this on Steam and PS4. I think you'll have a good time with this. But that's all the time that I have today. Thank you guys so much for watching. It seems like this game is going to be a blast. I'm pretty sure this game is going to get a burst edition with like DLC, cosmetics, storyline and stuff, kind of like the defense unit in Gaia 2 Rage Burst. Anyways, I'm done with all this. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Maybe a demo video.